What's up? This is Hussein from Daily Paper, and you're listening to Culture Study.
Hello, everybody. My name is Omar Issa, and welcome to Culture Study. We have a remarkable guest joining us today, and I'm so grateful to be able to call him a dear friend. Hussein Suleiman is a visionary at the intersection of fashion and culture, and along with his best friends Jefferson and Abderr, he's the co-founder of Daily Paper. Initially launching as a blog over a decade ago, Daily Paper has organically grown into a global streetwear brand, with flagship locations in Amsterdam, London, and now New York. The brand's unique fusion of African heritage, contemporary style, and attention to detail has garnered a massive following around the world. Their collaborations with the likes of Adidas, European superclub Ajax, Dreamville, Puma, the Gogh Museum, Bob Marley's estate, and so many others have contributed to the brand's growing popularity. Daily Paper has been embraced and worn by a never-ending list of influential figures, including Beyonce, Jay-Z, former First Lady Michelle Obama, Sir Lewis Hamilton, Wizkid, Lupita N'yongo, Naomi Campbell, Lil Baby, and so many more. In this conversation, we dive into Hussein's journey, exploring the rich tapestry of his Somali heritage and upbringing in the Netherlands, as well as some of the lessons he's learned as an entrepreneur in the creative world. From humble beginnings to global recognition, Hussein's story is one of faith and unwavering determination against all odds. As always, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Culture Study and ask that you share it with one other person who would enjoy it as well. You can follow us on Instagram and tag us when you listen. Our handle is @CultureStudy. Thank you so much. Peace. I want to start off with a very serious note here with some Daily Paper trivia. You ready?
I think so.
No, so actually, your co-founders, Jeff and Abderrahman, each have a question for you to start off the podcast. So,
Let's go.
serious questions.
Okay.
First one's from Jeff. Shout out to Jeff for getting back within a second. I said, Jeff, I'm going to talk to Hussein. You have any question you want to ask him? He says, simple. Ask him what he hates about us.
What I hate about my partners.
Yeah.
I think hate is not the right word.
Yeah. He was joking, you know that, right?
I know he's joking.
Cool.
But there's no hate for my partners.
I love
There's
that.
no hate for my friends at all. But maybe what he wants to know is like what I dislike. By Jeff and Abderr. Man, these are my friends. There's so many things I dislike about them. You know?
I love that.
There's so many things, but no, we good. Man, this is a tough question, man.
Yeah. You don't have, if you don't have anything.
I
that's
really
fine
I really
either.
have no hateful things to say about them.
I feel like you have a lot of love. You have a lot of shared love.
Yeah,
I've seen
for
your
sure.
dynamic, and I appreciate the dynamic you all have because you all are moving. Daily Paper is functioning at such a high level, and there's so many people involved, but you are all doing so many things separate from each other and yet still connected at all times, and I think that's really special.
Yeah, because I think also we don't see each other as much as we used to do, which sucks, you know. But at the same time, we all, I think, have the trust that everybody is doing that, you know, doing what they're supposed to be doing and like leaning into their strengths
Yeah.
and making sure that we push the company into the right direction. And even though like I might not speak to them for a couple of days because they're on the other side of the world, I just know that I never have to worry if they are actually pushing the brand forward because they always are.
Yeah.
And I think likewise they think the same of me. They are not aware what I did this week, but they probably think, yeah, he probably, you know, pushed.
Where does that trust come from?
Man, that's a difficult question. I think like yeah, you build that over the years. You know, we know each other's characters. You know, like they know I wake up and I always wanna push for more, for better, for improvement. Like it's in our character.
I have a question now from Captain, from
Okay.
Abderrahman.
Yes.
If you could change the name of the brand, what would it be? from Daily Paper?
Mm, I'm gonna give you so many political correct answers because there is
Did
no
you
other name.
have you ever thought about the name, like a different name?
Bro, like I hated the name at first. Like
Was it your
this,
name? Did you give the name Daily Paper?
I think, yeah, I think I kind of did.
But you hated it.
I mean, I could say I named it, but I didn't because at that time we were throwing around a lot of different names, and if I didn't get the feedback from them, like, oh yeah, that sounds good, then it's not that like that I came in and was like, guys, it's Daily Paper. Like we're gonna have to name it that. No, it was just like we're throwing out names around and we're thinking, because you know the history, right? We started off as a blog,
Yeah.
and it was called Daily Paper, and that made sense for the blog. But when we started to make clothing, there was a moment where we were thinking like, okay, how are we gonna name the clothing? And eventually we were like, people already know us as Daily Paper, so why would we change the name? I'm glad we didn't, and yeah, I got to learn to love it as well.
Yeah. It's a it's a special name. I'm glad you kept it as well. I'm curious about what the other names were that you were considering.
Like I don't even want to say it because like even my friends laugh to this day, you know, like, and I'm so happy we didn't go for any of those names.
If there was ever a safe space, it's
If there was
called-
ever a safe space,
it's here.
we
It's-
had the most random names.
Yeah.
Popcorn.
Popcorn.
Yeah, don't ask me about it. Spoiled milkshake.
Is this stuff you find near your couch?
Like just random. Because we were just thinking like, yo,
Spoiled milkshake's good.
you know,
Y'all should throw a party called Spoiled Milkshake
you
or
know,
something.
maybe. Well, we went for
But that's
Daily
not even a
Paper.
good thing, Spoiled Milkshake.
Just random things.
Give me one more. I know there's like one you didn't say.
Indistinct chatter.
Indistinct chatter.
Yeah, that's one I was thinking about. You know, like the subtitles. You know, they always add it. They're like subtitles, and then all of a sudden it says indistinct chatter.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I was like, oh yeah, there's some background noise, etc. I
Yeah,
was like, yo, that would be such a cool name for a brand. Yeah.
that's cool. Does it say it in Dutch like that as well?
Nah, we were never thinking in Dutch.
You always think in English.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, this was good. I like these questions that they had. Jeff, Abder, thank you both. We're gonna keep it pushing.
Bro, I should have said for sugar. Right, we need to stop sugar shaming. We need to stop sugar shaming.
He's about to go on a rant.
Nah, because like, why every time I order something and I'll be like, oh, okay, you add 3 sugars, and you'd be like, 3 sugars? Like, yo, watch your own cup, man.
I'm over here. We just for context, we just got coffee right before this. Won't say the name of the company, but we got coffee. Hussein got tea, and he asked for 4 sugars.
I didn't ask for 4 sugars.
He wanted to ask for 4 sugars.
I asked for 3 sugars, and then you said 3 sugars, and I said I only said 3 because you're here. Because normally I would have said 4.
Sugar shaming is not a good thing. So, I'm next time maybe I'll get 4 sugars and see how it feels.
Man, do what makes you happy, man.
Has it kicked in yet?
What, my sugar?
Yeah.
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay, let's keep it moving a little bit. I want to ask you now, for those who haven't had the pleasure of meeting you, how would you describe yourself?
I'm Muslim, Somali. Grew up in Amsterdam. No, I didn't grow up in Amsterdam. I grew up in the Netherlands, moved to Amsterdam, born in Somalia. Yeah, I think regular guy.
Regular guy. How are you? How are you really doing? What have you been feeling recently?
I've been doing really good. Yeah, I just came off Ramadan, you know, which is like always like a good time, and always feel better right after it. So Yeah, that's how I'm feeling right now. I'm back in New York City. Haven't been here for like 3 months or something, and yeah, I just been traveling, which is another blessing. Yeah.
Yeah. What is what purpose does Ramadan serve in your life?
What purpose?
Like you said, you just mentioned you're feeling really good just off the back of Ramadan. So I wonder
Yeah, it just
what type of
it
transformation
helps
did
me
you?
recenter myself, I think,
Yeah,
and it's like a annual blessing.
yeah. It's funny because I feel I participate in Ramadan as well. It was a really special one this year, and I realized that Ramadan, I'm never ready for it, but it always arrives at a time when I need it. You know what I mean? Like I'm never really mentally prepared for it. It's like exactly, but when it comes, it's just like I lock in and I feel like it's the perfect timing for it to happen. So it's
Yeah, same
special.
for me.
It's really special.
Yeah, so I've been feeling good. Just got back to New York. The weather is amazing.
Yeah.
It just got cold these last 2 days, but other than that, it's been so much fun.
If I gave you a blank canvas, what would you draw to describe your state?
Right now,
Yeah. You're the artist.
oh man, what is this? Is a therapy session? Like you want to go? You want to go deep?
We're
Okay,
started. We're started.
okay. A blank canvas in my state. I feel I feel super motivated. So I don't know what I would draw. Like, what would you draw if you feel super motivated?
A daily paper logo
Daily paper logo, yeah, up in the sky,
up in the sky.
yeah, something like that. I would draw it. I would draw it like no, maybe I create a planet in the shape of the daily paper shield.
That's cool. The
Yeah,
Maasai shield,
shield.
right?
Yeah.
Inspired by the Maasai shield. That's dope. I like that. Um, what's been? Well, let me ask this actually. Where have you been finding success in the past year? Like, what's felt good?
I spent a lot more time in Amsterdam, so that was like amazing. So I really enjoy the duality of things. I like to travel a lot, but I also like to sit in one place for a long time. And yeah, the last 2 to 3 months, I was kind of like still. I was like just at home, um, not really on the social media apps like that.
Yeah,
Um, so I was just a bit still. But now I'm just ready to be back
in go mode.
in go mode. Yeah.
Um, what's been your biggest learning over the past year, or what's
Mm,
maybe something that keeps keeps coming back? That lesson.
yeah, you don't have to force anything. You know, everything happens when they are supposed to happen. And it's good to really want something and strive for something. But at the end of the day, everything happens the moment they're supposed to happen.
I love that. You also recently, I think at the end of last year, you visited Somalia,
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah.
where you were born.
Yes.
Um, what does Somalia mean to you?
Um, like a lot, like I grew up learning a lot about Somalia through like stories from my family or like my parents. Because like we fled when I was like 2 years old, so I didn't have really like any memories of um, what my country was like. I grew up with like a lot of friends from different immigrant uh,
Backgrounds.
backgrounds, yeah, and they were able to go back to their country like every summer or like and that wasn't really the case for us. So I got to visit at a way later age. Um, so for me, it was really weird to see like um, everybody there is Somali, you know? Like you get off the plane, you know, everybody in the plane is Somali, you
Yeah,
know? I'm like, whoa,
that's
because I
funny.
grew up in the Netherlands in a small village, and you know, like there's Somali people everywhere, but like if you see them in the Netherlands, it's like it's special, right? It's like, oh wait, you're Somali too, like yo, what's up, you know?
Yeah,
We travel so many miles, you know, to come here, so like automatically we feel like there's a connection. But now you're in Somalia and you see all these Somali people and they just ignore you because like we're all Somali, you know?
they don't care at
They
all.
don't care. I'm like, yo, you're Somali. Yeah, everybody's Somali. Like, what are you talking about? You know?
That's funny.
It's not like, you know, like when you're in New York and you're walking around and you know, like two Somali people see each other. It's like, yo, you're Somali. Yeah, I'm Somali. You're Somali.
You
Okay, cool.
embrace.
Yeah, you embrace each other. Now
Yeah.
you're Somali, you know, like you're waiting for your luggage and he'd be like, yo, wait, he's Somali too. Everybody's Somali. You know? So that's like a strange feeling.
Yeah,
I never had that. I never experienced that. Um,
that's
yeah.
funny.
And then, you know, you, you know, my uncles and my dad picked me up from the airport. And then you get to see a country, man. You know how crazy that is? You get to see, like, the places that your parents grew up in, that you heard about all your life. You feel like, I don't know, it just feels weird. Like, even like your body is like, oh, yeah, this is the sun I'm missing. This is the type of temperature I've been missing. Because if you think about it, right, it's like my dad lived in Somalia his whole life. My grandfather, my great grandfather, you know, my whole lineage is from there.
Yeah,
They never really left that area. I'm like the first generation that actually went elsewhere. And I definitely do think that um my body still feels connected to the environment in Somalia because that's actually where I'm from.
what were some of those, like, what are some of the moments that you think of when you think of Somalia?
Mm, really peaceful in terms of like how the day is structured. Way more simple life. I feel like a lot more people are more happy over there than what I experience. Um,
Just in the West as
in
a
the
whole.
West, yeah, it's like this. Um, everything revolves around uh our religion. So um, they also speak in terms of the prayer times. Oh, I'll meet you after Dhuhr, or I'll meet you after Asr, or I'll see you. You know, like so. That's like the way they speak. So everything is about religion as well, which makes so much sense because it's the center of like uh, who we are.
Interesting. That's very cool.
Um, yeah, I really loved it. I love seeing like I love camels. I don't know, you know, you follow my social page, so like you see me there.
Yeah,
I try to like distinguish them, name them.
you got to. That's right. You
You
got
know,
you got names for them. What are the names?
no, I don't have names for them all, but like, yeah,
There's
like
a couple.
I cannot even distinguish them yet. So like I need to spend more time there. Yeah.
um, that's funny, man. That's beautiful. It is. It is. I felt peace looking at your social media. You know.
Right. I mean, like for me, it was like also like discovering myself again. You know, like why do I love this or why do I love that? Where does my love for like I love horses, for instance, but I never grew up with horses. Like where does my love for horses come from? And then you learn that a lot of the men in your lineage, you know, that's all they did, riding horses. You know,
Wow.
and but for me, it was always like whenever I see a horse, super fascinated, like oh, amazing, or like when I see camels, like I get drawn to them, and then you find out like a lot of people in your family members, like of your lineage, you know, they had hundreds and hundreds of camels. You know, they were that's what they were doing. So naturally, you're gonna feel a connection to that too.
Yeah.
And other than that, like I hate animals. Not hate, but like that's a big word. But like I'm not like fun. I don't go to the zoo and stuff.
That took a turn.
You know, I was always afraid of dogs. If I see a dog, I was like, nah.
Oh man,
You know, but I think that's also a Somali thing. You know, like
is it?
yeah, like if I see a Somali guy or a girl with a dog, I'm like, yo, you're confused. You're mad confused.
That's so funny. You've been in the West too long.
You've been in the West too long, man. What's going on?
I love dogs, man. I'm gonna be honest, and cats,
Okay,
animals.
I love cats too. You know, like I
Do
don't.
you though?
Yeah, I really do. Like,
Or are you just saying that to impress a friend?
no, I really love cats, but like I don't dislike dogs. I don't think it's just yeah, they're not just for me.
You're not drawn to them.
Nah,
I am. So
that's great. Maybe your ancestors were like, you know,
dogs.
no, not dogs, but like you know, y'all had dogs around you.
Got that dog
There
in
needs
me.
to be. There needs to be like
Maybe I got that dog in me.
maybe, but there needs to also be like I don't know. I saw this picture the other day of Jefferson's kid, and he was next to, and Jefferson posted that. And he was next to this big dog, and he was super calm. He was just sitting next to that dog, and I'm thinking like, I had a fear for dogs since I'm younger than him. Since he's younger than him, so like, why is he so comfortable around the dog?
Yeah.
I was always afraid of dogs. I'm not afraid of dogs anymore, but at that time, I definitely was. So like, where does that come from?
Do you know the answer?
Yes, I do know the answer. I have an interesting theory.
Let's hear it.
There's an interesting theory that may not be true, may be true, but this is what I think. So growing up, right, in a predominantly white environment, I just thought that white people were afraid of black people. Not afraid, but like uneasy around black people. And when they're walking their dog and they see like a group of black boys, they usually, the dog can feel the fear of the owner or like the uncomfortability of the owner. So like they might pull that dog a little bit stronger towards them, you know, and the dog feels that, and the dog feels, you know, oh maybe there's danger around. And if you associate that to certain type of people, and that dog is gonna think like next time yo I see that kid walking by the house, I'm just gonna bark very very loudly because that's kind of like what my owner taught me. So growing up, dogs used to bark at me all the time, you know, aggressively, and I think it all has to do with like how the owner interacted with the dog and seeing me. If the owners were always like super chill, etc., the dog would be chill, but they weren't.
Yeah.
Is that a crazy theory?
No, it's not crazy.
Okay,
There's
that's how I make sense out of it.
yeah. I feel like there's a lot of truth to that.
Dogs are not racist, you know. They're being thought to be.
No, but I mean, I don't want to get too dark into history, but there's a lot of like images that were captured during even like the civil rights era of police officers using, you know, their dogs to control or to like break up a crowd or to harm and not only police officers but just very racist
Mm-hmm.
white people. So there is some, you know, reality behind that as well. I want to know a little bit about just your childhood. What are some of the memories that stand out, and maybe what are some of your earliest influences? And this is at this point you know you were born in Somalia, but were raised really in the Netherlands outside of Amsterdam, right?
Yeah, yeah. So when I was like 2, we fled Somalia. You know, we ended up in the Netherlands, and we have this thing called so when you come to the Netherlands, like as a refugee, you know, you have to like apply for asylum and say like, yo, where I'm from, we cannot really go back, so we're trying to stay here, and then you go through this process where the government is kind of like gonna check whether your story checks out, whether it's really true that you cannot go back, um, and that process is actually not super nice. You know, it's also pretty long. So at first, like they're gonna put you in like a place to live, like with other refugees. I don't know how you call them, but like we call them asylum seeker centers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
and
that's
and
about right.
and so we went to one of those, and then we stayed there for a little bit. Um, and then you just literally like in this center, like where like hundreds of families live, um, but they're all from different countries, you know. So any country that was in conflict in that around that time, you know, had refugees that were coming. Um, so we were like right next to people from Iran, people from Iraq, people from Bosnia, um, Congo, like you know, like everywhere there was conflict at that time.
Yeah,
Rwanda, which was a little bit later, they were all coming, and so you're like in the first couple years of your life, you're like in a very multicultural environment, and I remember I used to love that. I used to,
yeah. The interesting thing about that is, like, I grew up in LA, which is a multicultural environment, but I was not fleeing or in refuge. So it's like I would assume, and I would actually love to hear your perspective, but what's that environment like? You know, you're obviously in a beautiful multicultural environment. What's the kind of temperament, and what's the, a lot of folks are fleeing
me.
countries for because of civil war or violence or so many reasons. So what did you notice that?
I mean, I was a kid, so for me, it was just like fun. You know, like you were just playing in the hallways, kids from all over the world, you know, and it was fun. But like when I think about it, these centers are actually like um, there used to be prisons that they remodeled into refugee centers, right? And you got food at like certain times a day, like 3 times a day. You have
Wow.
like the outdoor area, you have the recreational area. I think you had to be home by a certain time. If I really think about it, like that was like some sort of like a prison,
Yeah.
you know, keeping you away from society until they figure out what they're gonna do with you. And so that was the first. That's how we got into the Netherlands. When we got uh, then we got like when they figured out that oh yeah they can stay. Um, then for the first 10 years, I think all my life we didn't have a passport,
Mm-hmm.
so like we were not able to travel. And I remember that was like pretty like difficult for my family because mm, we fled the war. So all my dad's brothers and sisters, all my mom's brothers and sisters, all the close friends, etc., they all left one place and they did not know where everybody was. They had to like
Wow.
this is no social media time. They had to figure out like where's my brother? Where did my sister go? Where did this friend of mine go? Does this person survive? So and you cannot travel. You know, you're literally you have no passport. You have like this document that says that you can stay. But yeah, so I do remember like seeing like a lot of like cheerful moments in my house once my family reconnected with someone again. And I remember like when I was like 12 or 13, um, we got our passports, and that was like a joyous moment, you know, like and these are things that most people are like born with, you know, just um, a passport, etc. But um, yeah, for us, yeah, took
H-
some time.
how did that, like, change your what happened after you got your passports?
Oh, we straight went to travel because
Yeah.
I remember like mm, being in class and like after like we after our summer breaks, used to come back to school, and then you know the teacher used to ask like, "Oh, what have you guys done in the summer?" And then this one kid goes like, "Yeah, I went to Morocco 6 weeks," you know. Oh, and then the next person would be like, "Oh, I went to Spain with my whole family, and we stayed there. Okay, where did you guys go? Oh, we went to France with the whole family. Hey, Hussein, where did you go? I was like, "Yeah, I was in the area, man. I was just like literally here.
I was in the
I was
area.
in the area. I was
I
like
was
literally
posted.
here." And you know what? Like one of my memories that I really like. I'm gonna say like it kind of shaped me like in some sort of way. It's like when the summer holiday starts, my friends they go on holiday at different times, right? So now it's like, okay, Kareem, he's going to Morocco in 2 weeks. So this 2 weeks we're chilling, and then he's gone 6 weeks. 6 weeks for like a kid that's like 10 years or 11 years, it's like a whole year, you know. Like 6 weeks is so long.
Yeah.
They gone. And then, okay, you just have to find friends that are not traveling at that moment. So you're looking like, oh, okay, this person is coming back that date. Okay, cool. I can hang out with that person again. And those were like funny times.
Yeah. You
Uh,
were organizing travel schedules.
exactly. Like, who can I play with right now? And there were times that everybody was gone, and I was just walking around in the area like, damn, man, all my homies gone. And like if you're like 9, 10, or 11, you cannot really figure out why it is that you can't travel, or why, you this is just me reflecting on, oh, that was the reason why we couldn't go. But around that time you really do not know.
Yeah.
And then I remember like we had the passport. One of the first things we did, we went to the UK. We had a lot of family members that when they fled Somalia, they went to the UK. And this is the first time I really got um to see Somali people like in like that many, because like London, I mean like the UK in general has a lot of like Somali diaspora living there. So it's the first time I go to like a Somali restaurant. Like my uncle used to
Oh
have a
wow.
Somali restaurant, so I used to be there all the time. It was cool, was so dope. And I met all these family members. I met my grandmother. I met, like people that uh
You hear about
you hear
or
about,
you
but like you never seen. See my uncles, I'd be like, whoa, you actually look like my dad, like crazy, like
seeing it as a kid though, it's kind of like your worlds are expanding,
it's
like your
expanding like
universe.
huge.
Yeah.
And what beautiful times, man.
Yeah.
Beautiful times, yeah.
That's special. Thank you for
Yeah,
sharing that.
sure.
What as you think about a lot of the time you spent posted by yourself, but just also in general, as as you think about your childhood into high school, and I'm curious about what kind of your earliest influences were creatively. What were you listening to? What were you consuming?
um I always used to love hip hop. Even before I knew English,
Hmm.
I just loved the way it sounded. I remember that I had an older brother and he had a record player, and he used to like bring records, you know. He used to buy records, and then he used to have him in his room. I remember I used to sneak into his room, just listen to that stuff. And I remember one of the first earlier memories was like me listening to Wu-Tang. Bring the ruckus, bring the mother ruckus. And I didn't even know what that means, you know. Still to this day, I don't even know what that really means. But at that time, I was just like repeating that the whole time. Bring the ruckus, bring the mother ruckus. Or, sorry for the profanity, but
Yeah. Sorry, Nana.
yeah. Or like listen to It's Wu Mother Wu Tang Mother. I didn't know what that meant, but it sounds so good. So
Yeah.
like I was just like kept repeating that, and that's I think kind of like how my love for hip hop started. Started diving into it more. Um, I think I was lacking a lot of like black role models in the Netherlands, and I found that in through this hip hop superheroes. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Where and at that point, I'm assuming you didn't speak English, or you did?
No,
Okay.
no, I learned it like probably when I was like 12, 13, 14.
What languages did you speak prior?
Somali and Dutch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, what are some of the, or maybe one of the biggest lessons that you learned from your parents or from your family that you kind of carry with you still?
Um, don't put all your eggs in one basket. And I think like my parents never saw the war coming. They used to think this is gonna be their lives forever. I think they even like when it came to fleeing, they never thought it was gonna be a permanent thing. They thought like, oh, the war's gonna be over in 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe like a year max, and then we're gonna go back. Most of the investment of my dad, like when it comes to like property or like houses or etc., were all in Somalia. And from one day to another, decide to like leave it all behind and go somewhere else. Um, so what I my dad advised me was like, yo, you think everything is sweet in the Netherlands and it's probably gonna be good forever, but don't put all your eggs in one basket because like one day you might have to leave without any notice. So make sure that you're gonna be good elsewhere too.
Yeah. You said that in the was that 2020 when we
Hmm.
spoke. I remember. So
Yeah.
I like that stuck, and that's true to you. Um, I remember you also saying, just in talking about your family fleeing, like you said that it was so. You said the war was so sudden. There was obviously conflict, but it was so sudden that your brothers and sisters went to school. Brothers,
Hmm.
sisters.
Yeah.
Okay,
Both.
yeah, both. Your brothers and sisters went to school in the morning, and by lunchtime or the afternoon you were fleeing the country.
Yes.
Like that's what it was like.
Yeah. That's what it was like. Like imagine, you think everything is okay till it's not. And yeah, when I was in Somalia, like I was reading, like my dad's writing, maybe, yeah, he's just writing a lot, like
You're talking about recently,
yeah,
your recent
recently,
trip to
yeah.
Somalia.
So I just been reading like everything that he's been writing and some amazing stories, and it was very sudden. The war happened very suddenly. I think like a lot of people were in denial for a long time until
Yeah.
until it went off, and it lasted 30 years.
Wow. I'm sure every month or every day you were like, no, 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 I'm going back. Like even in your head, because that's maybe the way that your parents were thinking about it.
My parents always used to say it's temporary. We're going back, and I used to say that in school all the time. Like my teachers were like, "Oh yeah, and what you gonna do?" I said, "I'm going back to Somalia." Okay, when? I was like, "Yeah, when the war is over." Didn't know it was gonna last 30 years. Still
You said that
here.
with so much confidence.
Yeah, I was so confident. I did not want to stay. After hearing like all the stuff that my parents were telling me about country that I'm from, yeah, I definitely want to go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I want to talk a little bit about obviously Daily Paper, the brand. Once a blog, as you explained, um, now a global streetwear brand. 3 flagship locations, is that right? Amsterdam,
Mhm.
London, New York.
Mhm.
When we met, you were building the New York space. I remember seeing it under construction. It's
Yeah.
beautiful, man.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been to all of them. Like they're special places.
Thank you.
They're staples in the community that that you surround yourself with. So
Yeah, very happy with all the locations.
I'm gonna. You're very humble, and I'm gonna brag for you right now. So just listen. In the past few years, you've collaborated with Adidas and Ajax, the European super club in Amsterdam, to design their jerseys. Collaborated with Dreamville. You were in the video game FIFA 23 and 2K. Uh, Collaborated with Bob Marley's estate, Van Gogh, Off White, Beats by Dre. Clothes have been worn by Jay-Z, Michelle Obama, Sir Lewis Hamilton, me, Thames, Wizkid, Young Thug, Lil Baby, Central C, Pete Davidson, Anderson Paak. I mean, the list is amazing. And it's funny I said that at the beginning, but I say all that to like also you talked about duality earlier. You, Jeff, and Captain and Abder are like some of the most humble people that I know, and are also some of the most successful people that I know. And I'm just curious about for you, maybe individually, where that comes from. It's a beautiful, like a beautiful trait to carry, um, but it's also difficult. So I'm curious about that.
I think I'm not sure where it stems from. I hear it often that people say, "Oh, you're too humble," or like you need to brag a little bit more. You need to talk a little bit more. And I'm thinking, why? Like the work would speak for itself first and foremost, and also I think once you live like with the idea of like that it is not only earned but it's also given by God, then you just approach a lot of things a lot differently. If you keep thinking like, yo, this is this because I did this, then you might start thinking that you're the but once you start really realizing like this is this because, you know, this is what God has written for you, and you just literally playing your part and try to like make the right moves while God is giving you these blessings, then yeah, you're just gonna approach it really differently. Um,
Kind of just a piece to the larger puzzle, right?
exactly. It's just at the end of the day, yeah, or yeah, what can I say? Like I really love what I do. I love to make amazing clothes, and I love that the world is watching, and that some people are taking notice, and people want to wear our stuff, come to our events, or like support, buy our products. It's really good product, by the way. You're wearing it right now. It's like it's amazing product, and I think like if people would know how much time, attention, and detail we put into like making our clothes, they would also understand where like mm, why it's doing what it's doing, why it's embraced by so many people. Um, yeah, but it can, like, how do I say this more, man? Like, why would we have to brag about this? You know,
Yeah,
I'm just, like I'm making clothes. I think it's amazing. My friends think it's amazing. If more people think it's amazing, let's go. If you don't, that's cool too. You know,
yeah,
I know we make some of the best product out there. Like um, I can be humble, but at the same time, I can talk my too. I do not think that we're less than any other brand. I think we are the best in what we do,
yeah,
and I think everybody should think that. And if you don't think that about your own product, then you need to step it up.
yeah. I
You
was just
know,
gonna say it comes from the work ethic, the
it
work behind
does.
it.
It does. Like we put so many hours into making these garments. Like we learn on the go. You know, if someone's critical about us, be critical, but we're even more critical about ourselves. If someone says like, "Oh my God, this jacket is amazing," I'd be like, "Yeah, it's cool, but if it had this and this and this and this, it would even be even better." That's what I would say. And then some people always tell me like, "Yo, no, just embrace it. This is a great jacket or this is a great piece." I'm like, "Yes, but." It's
Yeah,
always yes, but because I always believe in there's room for improvements. And it's not only being humble; it's also being like knowing I can do better. You know, you
yeah,
know. There's a lot of things that are going right for the brand. There's also a lot of things that are going wrong for the brand, and that's what a lot of people don't see every day.
what's something that's not going right, or something that you are workshopping?
I mean, like we're in the process in rolling out the brand in North America, and I think that I haven't mastered communication here in North America as much as I do in Europe. Because in Europe, like a lot of things speak for itself. I think like in America, I just need to uh, promote myself a little bit better, talk my a little bit more.
Ironically, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, think about like, you know, you were inspired by hip hop.
Yeah,
That's so interesting too because hip hop is so much, and it kind of
yeah,
being that braggadocious, like, I got it, you don't, which
yeah,
is cool. There's something special about that confidence, you know.
yeah. But
Um,
I'm just trying to not be in the center of attention.
yeah,
I want the brand to be in the center of attention. I want the brand to be in every conversation. You know, and
yeah,
I still feel like, how do I say that? If you don't mention us with the best of the best, then I'm thinking like, yo, you're not really paying attention. You really are not.
I agree with you.
You know.
I think the first time, I mean, honestly, many years ago when I was exposed to the brand for the first time, I was curious. I was like, there's something cool about this, like 2014 maybe, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I think pairing that, by the way, not only the clothes, but the work that you do as well. I remember, I think one of the things that actually made me really fall in love with the brand itself, before I even knew you guys, um, was when you all did a collaboration with Puma
Yes.
many years ago. And I remember that, instead of doing like a, standard release party in New York City or in London or wherever you were going to be, you decided to take the money from that party and build a soccer field at an all girl school.
Mm-hmm.
Where was it?
Accra.
In Accra, yeah.
Yeah.
And then throw a tournament, like put a tournament on for the local youth.
Yeah.
I think that moment to me, and the way that story was told as well, was so beautiful and so powerful because you go beyond the clothes as well. The clothes is it's that first medium for connection, and it's beautiful and really well done stuff that you want to wear, but the brand extends way beyond that, you know.
Yeah. We really are like on some legacy building, and every year we need to do something that's gonna last, that's gonna outlast us. Like even that comes from our religion. The only thing that's gonna benefit you when you die is like, the good deeds or like the things that are keep um letting you get good deeds, like the charity that you did or like the
The
the people that you
service, yeah.
influenced. Like
The
that's why
people,
we aren't we that's why we're on this world. You know, I mean, like shout out to all the people that uh do it in a different way because it's not the best. How you say that? It's not like a business thing. It's really like a us thing.
yeah.
And if you don't know us, then you might question why we do these kind of things. But if you know us, then you know why we do these things.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I feel like the value comes first, like for you all. The more like the morals before the business. And
One hundred.
that's an example of that. You know, most people, everybody literally would throw a party.
Yeah,
You
and we
know?
throw parties too.
Yeah.
Like it's a duality. But we choose like when we do what.
And how you do it and the
Yeah,
substance of it as well. Not putting words in your mouth, but I appreciate it.
of course.
Um so 10 years now, Daily Paper, right? Last year we celebrated 10 years in Amsterdam.
Yeah, you were there.
That was beautiful, man. That was a special moment. Um, Congratulations.
Thank you.
What do the words daily paper mean to you now?
Daily paper, man. I dedicated such a big part of my life to building this together with my business partners. I think I touched a lot of people. Work with some of the most amazing people. Um, yeah, it means just a lot. It means a lot. And there's some times that I was thinking like, how long am I gonna do this for? And then sometimes I'm thinking, I'm gonna do this forever. Or this brand needs to outlive me. And sometimes I'm thinking, no, this brand needs to die.
Mm,
Like it's because we're artists at the end of the day.
where what's the next step after if in that thought process of like, okay, let me move on to something else. What's that next evolution?
I don't know. I think like just like the thing that keeps me going is always doing something new And luckily, I can always do that in my in our brand, right? So one day it's designing a T-shirt, and the next day it's designing a car or like a bike or like a headphone or like a soccer jersey for your hometown team. Like there's
Yeah.
so many amazing things that we can do with the platform Daily Paper, and I'm not bored at all. I'm still not bored. So as long as I can keep creating dope stuff, you know, um, one day it could be a chair, and if it can all fit under the umbrella of the Daily Paper, I love to continue doing that. If I feel that I'm being limited by Daily Paper, then maybe then it's time to find a way to find creative expression elsewhere.
Yeah. That's so funny because the next thing that I wanted to kind of transition over to was to talk about the late Virgil Abloh, genius, human leader, creative, barrier breaking designer. Some of the words that I wrote down. But we've spoken about this before, just like over coffee or just in groups casually. But you had a very strong relationship with him, or a relationship with him, I should say.
Yeah, a relationship. Yeah.
Uh, Tell me about your relationship with him. Like, what did he mean to you?
I mean, first and foremost, like huge inspiration. Um, Paved the way for so many of us. Um, in my opinion, often wrongly criticized by a lot of people that he was paving the way for. Um, Built something amazing. Learned so much from him w- through direct conversations or um, seeing his moves. Made the impossible possible. Um, from African descent, immigrant just like us, while his parents were immigrants, like so. I There's so many connections. There's so many, like, I've seen him from the moment Daily Paper started. I've just seen him everywhere, So the first trade shows that we go to, like when we go to Berlin, I see him out, or like when I go to this event, he's DJing, and then I go to a fashion show, See him, like he was always like he was always the center of the culture that I was such a big fan, admirer of, and wanted to participate. And so the moment he noticed us and he's reaching out so often, I'm thinking like, bro, this is the creative director of Louis Vuitton, and he's hitting me so often, like, yo, like we must be doing something right, And we got to do some cool project with him, and I wish we got to do more, and he's greatly missed.
Yeah. What are some of the biggest lessons that you learned from Virgil, whether it's direct conversation or just watching him the way he moved in the world?
Is is how you want to be remembered, you know. Um, Virgil, uh, have you ever been on his websites? Man, that's amazing.
Yeah,
All the work is there. It's
yeah,
archived. You ever read his books?
yeah.
It's archived. His work is archived.
Everything's available. It's like a manual for anybody
It's
who
like
wants
open
to.
source. Like when
Yeah,
people ask me, "Yo, I want to start a clothing. Like, you have any tips?" I'm like, I can give you tips, but like, have you ever watched VirgilAbloh.com? You know,
yeah,
check that. Check that. And if you have the discipline to read, to watch the lectures that he shared on his website, etc., then that's a amazing foundation.
yeah,
There's so much inspiration there, and I think that's such a big blessing, like leaving something behind for the next generation to look at and find inspiration in. Like I love just going through his books and just like be like, wow, you did this and you did that, and you did this, and there's no limits, there's no ceilings at all. And um, I don't think there will ever be another just like him.
Yeah.
And just grateful that we got to operate in the same time. And yeah.
Is there anything that he shared with you through direct conversation that you feel like um, has shifted or you've learned from that in the way that you move in the world?
Um, I just think he was like such a nice guy, even with everything, and humble and as well. He gave so many people compliments throughout his work, throughout, you know, throughout the years.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to be, because he was like number one, right? In the fashion world, he was Drake. You know,
Yeah.
everything that he drops is like hits, hits, and but he would reach out. Yo, I just saw you did this and this that. That's crazy, amazing. I'm thinking like, bro, like you just dropped, I don't know, something crazy. You know, like why? Like how are you noticing everything? How are you noticing? Like, yeah, that was dope. And I'm not saying like I took that also from him, but like I just remember like how it made me feel when I got a compliment from him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so I always make sure like for the next generation, etc. Even if it's small steps, etc. I'll make sure like I send him a message like, "Yo, I've seen this. And this is dope.
I
Amazing.
love
Keep
that.
it up."
Yeah.
You know, because even though I'm not Virgil, but like it means a lot when someone who's like more established notices your work and you get that message.
Yeah.
It always felt like empowerment, empowering. Yeah.
You just mentioned legacy, and it's how about how you want to be remembered, which is so funny because that's one of the last questions I ask on this, show. Um, do you think about that often? And like, how does it make you feel? Just this idea of mortality or um, legacy.
Yeah, so often I think about that. Yeah, I just want to be remembered, for my contributions, um, in a positive light. I hope I touch a lot of people's lives. I hope I inspire people. Um, yeah,
That's beautiful. Um, I want to move a little bit forward into a reflection. Before I do, one of the things I love this quote from Virgil from his insert complicated title here,
Mhm.
which is his speech I think he gave at Harvard
Okay.
graduation. Um, he said, well, there's a couple quotes, but one of them is, "Once I realized that it's not okay to be a perfectionist, I could suddenly do a million things at once." I'm curious about how you balance creation versus perfectionism, especially with someone like Virgil, kind of to learn from.
Yeah, there's no such thing as perfect, you know? The only thing that's perfect is God, right? That's what we know. The rest of it is like all imperfections. And we can just yeah, sometimes it's like I see so many creatives like paralyzing themselves of like seeing amazing work and afraid to share it to the rest of the world. I'm just thinking like, bro, just drop that. Just drop it. See what happens, you know? And once self-doubt, you know, seeps into your head, like yeah, you just paralyze yourself, man. Just drop it.
Do you ever experience self doubt?
So often, I think every creative does. And then you realize like I had it the other day. We made this sweater. I was like, man, this sweater is cool, but I don't know how it's gonna be received, and maybe I should not drop it. And the team was also like, yeah, maybe we should change it. And then I took it home. I was like, okay, then I'm just gonna keep it for myself. And then I just dropped it on Instagram and I said like one of one. So people know we're not dropping it. And so I don't have to like be worried about how people are gonna perceive that piece. And all of a sudden I got messages from all different directions, people that I admire, saying like, yo, that sweater is crazy. I need to have it. Or like, please make more. And then all of a sudden you're thinking like, of course I should make more. Like why are we even doubting ourselves?
Yeah.
You know, we should always go for our gut feeling. And if we feel that this is some great work and just are afraid of how it's going to be perceived by people, as long as the intention is good of like why we made that sweater, why we made that piece, that's all that matters.
It sounds like you remove self-doubt by relieving yourself of the pressure.
Yeah,
Like in that situation, that was
exactly.
an example where you were like, okay, I'm not going to put the pressure on this. I'm just going to have fun.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like back to your roots of why you started. I'm going to just have fun with this. I'm going to drop one of one. Nobody has to buy it. Nobody can buy it.
Exactly.
And that kind of is like a way for you to relieve the pressure, and all of a sudden you get reaffirmed in the work.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's really, really cool. I've never thought about it in that way. Like as a solution.
Yeah, a solution is like, okay, let's say for instance, okay, you make a t-shirt and you'd be like, oh, it's a bit risky what's on this t-shirt. People might not want to wear it, but you made it, you know? So many things do not get published because you're afraid of like how people are going to perceive it, or like, or people are even going to buy it or want to buy it. And yeah, that's why I wear a lot of samples too. And then people be like, what is this? When is this coming out? And then when enough people tell me, and I'd be like, okay, actually, we were right when making this. We should make it. We should drop it. We should have more people buy into this. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. One more quote from him, because I love the responses and kind of your perspective on some of these concepts. This quote from Virgil is, "There is no aha moment. That's what tripped me up the most. To this day, I'm still reluctant to call myself a designer because I always believed that designers didn't look like me. That was my biggest hurdle. That's the main message I want to deliver. Most hurdles are self-imposed. They literally don't exist. There is no failure." And then the aha moment was like, wait, I can just put work out, and if it's good, it works. If it's bad, no one notices. Then I can just get better at it.
So true. So true.
Kind of what you were just saying.
Yeah. Because like if that sweater was bad, people would have just not responded and it was fine, and they would have forgot about it like in a couple of minutes until you drop something that's good, and then they'll all on you again.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just drop.
That takes the pressure off. I really love that. I appreciate that lesson from today. You want to take a sip of
My
coffee?
tea? No, my tea is cold right now. I don't drink cold tea.
Sorry.
It's okay. Oh, there was also another thing that man, why did you interrupt me, man?
Oh no.
I was just about to say something crazy. Anyways,
you were talking. No, let's hear it. You were talking about how you were talking about taking pressure off.
taking pressure off. Oh yeah, another thing. Pressure. Like if I look at like why we got successful in the first couple of years of like starting our business, it's because nobody was noticing us, right? Nobody had any expectations. We were not being mentioned like, oh, this is a brand to watch or etc. So we were just doing whatever felt good for us, right? Those were the best years. Nobody expected anything. The where we at right now is like a lot more eyeballs are on us, and every move is being discussed. Or so that's why you're being a lot more cautious than we used to be, and it's a good place to be in because it makes you sharp. But actually, I also believe that the magic comes from not caring what the world thinks about what you're doing, And sometimes I'm still looking for that confidence that I had when I first started. I'm looking for that again because the self-doubt only comes from eyeballs on you.
Yeah.
That makes any sense,
No, it absolutely does. So,
you know?
how do you try creatively? How do you channel um, that feeling of when there was no pressure and no eyeballs into the way that you create or put together a collection or anything?
Yeah, sometimes it's also just little reminders to myself, right? If self-doubt comes in, I just have to like think about, but look at what we've built. Look at what we've done so far against all odds, you know? All
Yeah.
odds,
The
you know?
theme of the last 10 years.
The team of the last 10 years was against all odds. Nobody ever expected us to do anything. So then I just remind myself of that, and then I remind myself that we're really good at this. And then we just continue dropping,
Yeah,
you know?
I love it, man.
Yeah. No, we are really good at this. So, and the moment you start really realizing like um, that we're good at this, takes a lot of pressure off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gives you the confidence to, well, you put in your 10, 20, 30,000 hours,
Yeah.
like you've lived this for over 10 years now.
Yeah.
Every day, every second is daily paper.
It is.
How do you find joy these days,
Uh,
aside from listening to my jokes?
to your jokes are not funny at all. Sometimes they are though. I'm gonna
Come
give you, but
on.
like
You
it's like
said at all?
I think it's like by accident, you know?
By accident?
Yeah, it's not like not intentional.
Nothing. Everything's intentional.
Okay.
Nah, that hurts. Wow.
I mean, you're a great guy to be around, but
I'm not funny. You might be the first person I've ever heard say that in the past like 5 years.
you're witty. But funny is you know,
Who's funny?
most funny. Most actually funny.
Why is Mo funny? He is funny. You know what? We have different types of humor. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go on a little rant here.
Okay.
Mo's humor is very calculated. Like he thinks as a stand-up comedian. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He thinks as, at least this is the way I see it. He could be silent for a long time, and then he has like a joke that he's, it's like marinated in his head.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'm gonna drop it now.
Yeah.
I'm just off the cuff.
I don't know, man.
Energy. Why are you trying to laugh right now?
I'm laughing. Are you trying to explain why you're funny? Whoever has to explain they're funny.
I'm not explaining that I'm funny. I'm just trying to. I guess I am.
Yo, can I say something? Like sometimes like random thoughts come in my head, so like I'm just gonna
Yeah.
let them out, right?
Let's hear it.
I was speaking to Dapper Dan, a huge inspiration, uh, someone who laid the foundation to the streetwear thing that we're all a part of right now. Um, and he always, he always gives me like some of the most amazing uh, feedback or advices, etc. And one thing that stuck with me from our last conversation, he's like, like, do you want to be here for a good time, long time? You want to be here forever? If you want to be here forever when it comes to your brand, well, not forever, but like, become like a legacy brand, like a brand that people always know, like. And then he said, like, you have to attach yourself to a message rather than, trends or like, as long as you're true to your message at all times, whether or not the people like the message or not, it's going to be timeless. So that's something that stuck with me and that I still apply to this. Since the moment that I heard that, I was like, yeah, actually, there is a message that we try to do, that we're doing since day one. And as long as we stay true to that message, we're gonna be good.
Yeah, that's so true. Because I can think about brands who I've connected to that I appreciate their message, but they didn't stay true to it, and then I lost them or they lost me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, definitely.
Daily Paper is an example of a brand that as soon as I heard the message, I like ran towards it and have only continued to run towards it. You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
because you consistently um, reaffirm the message through the work.
100%. Because a lot of people see the stuff that we do, but they don't see the stuff that we don't do, you know? And one day I'll talk about like a lot of projects that would have been amazing, but we didn't do because they don't align with our message, or like certain partnerships that we could have done, but we can't do that because they don't align with our message. Um, we say no way more often than we say yes. So when you see a project, when it materializes, just know that there was a lot of no's before this one
Yeah,
happened.
that's so. I mean, I appreciate you saying that. I took an Uber to Daily Paper the other day,
Mm-hmm.
and the Uber driver was from Burkina Faso.
Nice.
I don't think there's any other brand that I could think of where I would tell my Uber driver, "Hey, you should check out Daily Paper. Go in and have a coffee, like go in and have a tea,
Yeah.
or check out the work that they do. I think you would like, you know." I don't think of another retail store where I would just tell someone randomly that I think might connect to the cause. I don't think there are many brands that are like that. You know what I mean? And so I think, yeah, not only do you, by aligning to a mission and sticking to it, do you create an audience that wants to come back, but then you also kind of have many ambassadors, I guess. I'm one of,
That's amazing.
that just feel aligned to the work that you're doing and want to share it because it is a great positive experience. So
Thank you. Thank you.
props to you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, we just gotta continue building it.
Yeah. We only have a couple. I think we're got a couple minutes left, so I'm gonna wrap this up. What would you say
No,
is
you need to have me give me more questions. We need to make this.
you
We need to
enjoying this?
yeah, we need to yeah, because I'm just getting into it. So we
There
need to
we
cut
go.
it into the best version possible. Because I don't do English. I don't do English podcasts.
Oh,
All of mine have been like kind of in Dutch. So like
except for the Breakfast Club.
the Breakfast Club. This was a short one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was great though.
Thank you.
Um, so back to my question about how you find joy these days.
How do I find joy these days? Like, you know me. Like I like to be social. Like have people around me that give me always energy, good energy. I find joy by seeking inspiration. I find joy with pushing myself to higher levels. I find joy in playing chess. You know, I find joy in a lot of my hobbies. I find joy. Like if you follow me on Instagram, you see me at soccer matches often. You know, just relax.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So little moments.
little moments, man.
I,
The-
li- oh, go ahead.
no, that's it.
I try to live by this quote or this phrase that I heard a few years ago, which is create your happiness,
Yeah.
because it's not something that just happens. It's something that you can actually intentionally create. Um, and I try to do that every day. And I feel like you're giving a good example of how you can do that every day. Happiness is the little moments that bring you joy that you can create, you can initiate. And I think the way that I think about it is if you focus on creating your happiness every day and you look back in 10 years, you can look back and say, wow, I've experienced happiness every day for the past 10 years.
Hmm.
You know, I think that's a beautiful, like, idea or goal to aim for.
100%.
Sounds like you try to do that.
Yeah. I like to go where the where the good vibrations are, the good vibes, the good energy is,
Yeah.
and wherever it's bad, I just try to stay away from it. People that make me feel bad, I don't spend a lot of time with. I just like to spend time with people or places that make me feel good.
What would you say is your superpower?
Ooh. Okay, my superpower is also one of my biggest weaknesses. Is I feel a lot, so like I'm hypersensitive, and for energy, but also for a lot of things. So if I have like a good interaction with you, etc., then
It like reverberates.
yeah. So, but also like negative energy. So like I just feel a lot. So like a lot, like my gut tells me a lot of what's going on in the world, or like what I should do, or what should I say, or etc. I have like a good pulse on reality, I would say.
Because of how like observant and how much you're internalizing things.
Yeah, observant, but also because of information that I have, you know, how I grew up. I grew up with people not being interested in where I come from, you know. So so I grew up as a black Somali Muslim in the Netherlands. So I had classmates. So like Monday to Friday, I had classmates that were Dutch from wealthy families, you know, established, etc. They did not really have the curiosity to
Mm-hmm.
learn about my culture. They'd be like, "Why do you do that?" or "Why do you do this?" or like etc. But I knew everything about their culture because I grew up in it. But next to it at home, I knew a lot about Somali culture and how we deal with people and how we interact with people. And then on Saturday and Sunday, I go to the mosque and I'm at Quran school and I'm with kids from Morocco, from any any place, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Senegal, no, not Senegal, but like anywhere, you know? So like we have the Islamic community too, that's super multicultural. So I experienced like how people view people in all these different environments. So I'm I know like how Dutch white kids think because I grew up with them. I go to we went to the same football clubs. I know their culture. I know what they do on Saturdays, on Sundays.
Right.
Exactly. Then I know like the Moroccan culture or like the Muslim culture that I grew up in because I had to, because like all the mosques in the Netherlands uh, were from a lot of the mosques that I grew up in were Moroccan mosques. So I learned a lot about their culture. They not necessarily know a lot about our culture, but I know about their culture. Uh,
Interesting.
like even me coming to North America, I'm in New York City, right? In New York City, these people think that the whole world is New York. They have no idea that there's amazing happening everywhere. Like I go to London and I see some of the most amazing creatives, you know, coming up and doing some of the most amazing stuff. I go to South Africa, I'm in Cape Town, I'm in Johannesburg. I see these kids doing crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Man, where haven't I been, you know?
Yeah.
And everywhere there's greatness. And the only thing is the cameras or like the cities that are being amplified by the whole world. Places like New York, Los Angeles, Paris, etc. They get a lot more attention, but there's so much good stuff all around the world. And the moment you're very aware of that and you're very in tune with that, you'll be like, this is great, but it's great because there's so many eyeballs on you guys, right?
Mm. Do you feel like that sense of responsibility, or do you feel like daily paper, it's a part of your values to amplify some of those creatives and artists and concepts um, that aren't getting the spotlight?
100%. Like, we are not looking to collaborate with the biggest or the most popular anything. We we want to work with what we think is the most amazing, what we think is the hardest, the flyest. So like when I work with a photographer in South Africa, it's because we love her or his work so much that I feel like this is the person that needs to shoot our campaign. Well, and they might not have the social status that a photographer in Los Angeles has, but or in New York has some amazing work.
Yeah,
You know, for us, it's way more about telling authentic stories than it is to tell popular stories.
that's great. What's something that you've always wanted to do, but you've been too afraid to try?
What I always wanted to do, I don't think I'm too afraid to try anything. I'm just too preoccupied to do anything else at this moment.
So
Uh,
so then let me remove the second part of that question. What's something you've always wanted to do that you haven't done yet?
mm, design more spaces. I think, like, I think I'd see myself do that a lot more, like I really love spaces. So hopefully one day I'll be fortunate enough to actually build a house from scratch.
Yeah.
And there's stuff that I would love to do, like build.
You have a little bit of experience with that with the shops, right?
Yeah, it's cool, but
Yeah, yeah. No, but you want to do more.
I want to do
Yeah.
more.
I'm sure that just like got the hunger going
Yeah,
because the shops are also beautiful spaces.
yeah,
Every little piece to the shop has meaning
yeah.
and significance.
Every detail has been touched. Yeah, and that's what I want to do with other spaces too.
Yeah.
And I was just looking at this mosque in Dubai, and I was like, wow, this is so cool. Like this is how a mosque for 2023 looks like.
What does it look like?
It was this mosque by this lady that was commissioned by a family to build this masjid, and it felt like not super traditional the way it was built. I'm gonna send you the link, and then maybe you can put it in there some way. But like the way they were playing with sunlight, shadows, etc.
Mm,
Um, yeah, it just felt like you go there. Um, yeah, it just looks peaceful.
that's great. So more of what brings you peace or creatively
Yeah,
excites you.
yeah, designing spaces.
Yeah.
That's like that's what really I would love to do one day. So
Um,
if anybody needs a hotel to be designed or something, and you want some,
daily paper residences.
yo, I would love to do that.
Come through, bro. I need a spot.
You need a spot.
Yeah.
You got the.
I need budget?
You think I'm gonna do it for free?
No, 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 I didn't think that. But let me see what the podcast is bringing in and we'll talk.
Okay, cool.
um, that wasn't a good joke. You know, so laugh at that one.
It's okay. You didn't have a lot of great jokes this show.
We're cutting that one. Um, as you've gotten older, what's become more important to you and what's become less important?
mm, what has got more important to me as I got older? Yeah, just spending more time with my family. I think it's the natural cycle. You know, that has gotten a lot more important. Um, oh yeah, that's another thing. We make it look like it's easy to what we're doing, and uh, I want to give like a more accurate um display going forward of like that it isn't easy. Like we go through so many hardships. Like every day there's something. Every day there's like a new problem.
There's a fire to put out.
You know, and the one is bigger than the other, and it's sometimes stressful and it's tough. It's tough on the mental. It's tough on on a lot of. And I'm just going forward. I just want to give a more accurate depiction of what it what it takes to run a business that you start with your best friends that eventually grows into, I don't know, we have like 70 people working on payroll, that's, I never expect that to happen. You're responsible for so many things. We're privately owned. Like no other company is like helping us do this. We're navigating this, in real time. There's nobody that we can call like, hey, how does this work, or how does that work, or like what would you do here and there. Like the help has been very limited. Everything that we have kind of had to kind of figure it out ourselves. And yeah, sometimes it's not as easy as we make it look.
What keeps the daily paper engine running?
I think us. I think the moment our team sees that our tank is on empty, like, then I think everything will fall apart,
Mm-hmm.
But I wake up every morning and I want it, I think, more than a lot of other people want it. And so nobody tells me, you wake up and do this. I tell that myself. And same goes for my business partners, They wake up with this, they go to bed with this. And yeah, I think that sets us apart from a lot of people.
Where did that come from? Like that sense of purpose? Because I think a lot of people feel like maybe they struggle with that.
Yeah, I don't think it's something that you can create, or etc. It's either you have it or you don't. You know, um, some people are better in other stuff. Some people can uh, motivate themselves to go to the gym like 4 or 5 times a week, or watch their health a lot better than I do. I'm a little bit less disciplined in that, but when it comes to this work stuff, good luck. Good luck like doing it like how we do this. You know, you see me, I'm in the store one day, then the next day I'm at the office, and then the next day I'm there. Like I do this every day.
Yeah.
You know, it's there's no job that I'm feel too good for. I want to be in the store, not when it's popping. I want to be at the store when we're struggling. You know, because then I want to see what happens. Like how can we? Because I never look at that at a situation. Like when we opened New York, I expected it to be going flawless and smooth. But what makes it great is that it didn't happen that way. We had like a lot of adversities. Like we didn't have like the best opening, but those are like the moments that actually will define you as an entrepreneur. Like how do you deal with this situation? How do you deal when there's not a line around the block for your products? You know, then you start realizing like, okay, maybe I need to improve in this, or I need to improve in that, I need to improve in that. And that's what we've been doing every day, looking at where we can improve. And it's like it's a cycle that doesn't stop, you know?
And you start to see the results though.
Yeah, you start to see the result, and it's
It's head down for a while.
no, it's not.
No?
What do you mean, head down?
Like your head's down for a while trying to figure it out. And eventually you can look up and say, oh, this is working.
Yeah, it is. It's just like keep going back to the drawing board. Like people will see the success, right? They'll see like, oh my God, like I see this and that, or how did you did that? How did you? They need to understand that there's a whole process that goes in before that you come to that point.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a process of trying to figure it out, trying this, trying that, trying. Yeah, it doesn't like, man. There was like certain days, like I was in the New York store, like Tuesday or like on a Wednesday, first couple hours, still nobody came in, you know? What? They don't they don't want our products? Like what's going on? Like, and then eventually you start seeing like it picking up, and then all of a sudden it's like you also see like, you're making more and more turnover, etc. And like more and more people bring their friends in, etc. Now you see that how that community is building or like evolving, etc. And yeah, it just takes time, man. And you have to be patient. You have to be willing to put in the work.
Yeah.
And what will define you is like how you deal with when nobody's interested in your stuff. How can you make them be interested? How can you learn more about your consumer? Because they're not homogeneous, you know? A consumer in London is not the same one as the one in New York. And the moment you start realizing that, uh, yeah, you'll improve a lot.
That's great. Is there anything else any takeaways that you wanted to give or provide before we close this out?
Takeaways. Yeah, man. You have to do this every day. You know, people don't care what you did 4, 5, 7, 8 years ago. You know, if you need to do this every day. You know, this is, if I look at it in basketball terms, you know, like, it doesn't matter if you're doing this for 20 years like LeBron James, you know, you have to do it every year.
Mm-hmm.
Every year, you have to be on top. And if you don't, you know, there's going to be a kid that's going to be more hungry than you, and it's going to show you how it's done, you know, and uh yeah, so that's what also keeps me sharp, you know, and what I love.
What do you like? What's the end goal? I know you said creative expression, and when like through daily paper and in any realm of your life, but I feel like maybe the competitiveness is like you use it as a fuel to like
Mm-hmm.
better yourself. Is that accurate? Like you
It
use it
is.
as a just kind of a match to light the fire for you to make yourself great.
It is. But competitiveness in a way that I want competitiveness. I want someone to challenge the whole time because that's only gonna make you better.
Yeah.
You know, there's never like I have hate for nobody. Like every brand, everybody who's trying to do something in our realm, or I love it. I welcome it. You know, I want them to do amazing so I can see what actually is possible,
Mm-hmm.
and just gonna want to push myself higher. You know.
I love that. That's really dope.
Yeah, man. So please keep doing amazing stuff, everybody in the world, and inspire us.
Let's do a rapid fire real quick.
Let's go.
3 of your favorite things about me.
Um.
I was joking. You don't have to say that.
Okay. Thank God.
Damn, it's like that.
No,
All
I'm
right,
kidding.
give
I've
me
I've so many favorite things about you,
give
man.
me one, bro, because I need one. These jokes were not hitting today.
No, I think you're like an amazing person to talk to. You're extremely wise. You're someone that I learn from. Um.
Come
And
on,
you're great company, man.
put my dad on here. So
Yeah.
keep going.
Yeah, man. Like I learned so much from you. You know, you're a great person to hang around. Everybody that I introduce you to ends up liking you too and wants to steal you as their friend. You know, now people are claiming that they're closer to you than we are. Like that's crazy.
That's funny. I love that. No, thank you for those kind words that I asked for, but I do want to do rapid fire with you real quick. Coolest career moment so far?
Coolest career moment?
Yeah.
I think like being on Anfield in the director's box, like with the owners of Liverpool, and I'm just chilling there with the directors of Ajax on a Champions League night, and we just chilling with knife and fork, watching the game, center pitch. We had to wear a suit because like that's the formal attire that you have to, being amongst like soccer legends and just discussing business, you know. And I'm thinking like, whoa, man, came a long way. Being on the pitch in Anfield, all the players of of the Ajax squad is like embracing us, just being so happy that we can share these moments together,
And they're wearing your jersey.
wearing the jersey, which
They're
is
wearing the daily.
insane,
It literally says daily paper on the
insane,
jersey, and the
and
designs are incredible.
and you know, at moments like that, you really feel like, wow, we are really children of the city, man. Amsterdam and daily paper is synonymous, you know. It's like it's who
Yeah,
we are. Like you can go to the stadium, which where we have season tickets for, and you see our brand there. Like that's insane. You know, that's not as smart. Like if you know what type of sacrifices we had to make just to get that done, it's like you would understand us so much more. But we'll save that for the memoirs, you know.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Um, I thought you were gonna say Jay-Z wearing your clothes, but this. I like this one too. I'm sure
that
there are a lot of cool career moments.
that was such a cool moment too, because he personally requested it.
Wow.
You know, if you know me, you know, like I think like he's one of the people that has been talking to me the most in my headphones. You know, I have no personal relationship to him. I cannot, you know, like it's just that I've always listened to his music. He's my favorite artist of all times. You
Yeah.
know, and I said it before, like I would love for him to wear my, you know, that was one of the goals that I wanted to see materialize. And then I got that text one day, and then I was like, no way,
Yeah.
no way, let's go. Yeah,
Special.
yeah, that was a cool moment. You asked me for three or one
Just whatever.
or whatever.
Coolest. Yeah.
I had so many, man. First time we being published on in a magazine. Whoa, first big artist wearing our stuff. Whoa, crazy. You know, all the firsts are always nice.
Yeah.
You know, first one being named in a list of like the best. First time getting nominated for awards. First time an artist shouting you out in a song, or yeah, a lot of first times, man. Those were all like, and that's why people say this a lot. Like the journey, that's what it's all about. It's not about the destination. Like there is no destination. It's just the journey, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And in the journey, a lot of like amazing things can happen,
Yeah.
and we cherish them.
I don't know why a daily paper museum just flashed in my head. I feel like that would be
Yo,
dope.
actually, sometimes I feel like, oh wait, maybe we should remind them like what we have done in the
Yeah.
last 10 years, and an exhibit would be amazing. Exhibit would be amazing, but I think I just saw this exhibit on. I didn't see it myself, but I saw like the brochure of it, and it was about Jill Sander
Mm.
and in a retrospect, and I was like, whoa, this is amazing, you know. And then one day I would love to have that as well, a retrospect, and then you'll see that we've been on the intersection of culture, especially Black culture, immigrant culture, for the last 10 years. You've seen it on everybody that means anything in this culture that we love.
Yeah.
There's some sort of way that has been a connection to daily paper, whether them wearing it, them appreciating it, or us working together in
Yeah.
some sort of way.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and that in itself is a huge blessing. You know, name somebody that had, you know, that is important to the culture that we love. There has been some sort of interaction with our brand, whether them coming to our event. Bro, like we had an event like a couple weeks ago, and I'm sitting there and RZA is there, bro. And RZA, bro, like I'm telling you about Wu Tang. That was one of my first interactions with hip hop, you know. RZA
Yeah.
is the mastermind behind the Wu Tang Clan,
Pulls up.
you know, pulls up to our event, shows love. And
Wow.
I'm thinking like, how is this possible, man? Like,
That's what you
and
were listening to first. First.
first interaction with hip hop
Yeah.
was bring the ruckus, bring the motherfucking ruckus.
Yeah.
You know, that's RZA. orchestrated that whole thing. And then like 10 years later, no, not 10 years, like a lot, like 20 years later, 25 years later, I'm like, he's at my event showing love.
Yeah. A fan of the work you're doing.
Insane, you know? And I have a lot of those moments while I'm in New York, right? Because for me, it was so foreign. They were so far removed from my world
Mm-hmm.
that I would never think that I would really like catch their attention. And catch some attention of people in New York is one of the most difficult things because they're so distracted because so much things are happening around them. So for them to notice you means something, you know? And that's why they also say it's the most competitive, most difficult city, you know,
Yeah.
in the world.
It's the rat race.
It is.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's special.
those are like a lot of special moments, and we just embrace all of them. Yeah.
Describe your personal style in one word or
Oh
phrase.
man, comfortability first. Usually, I always wear either my stuff or friend stuff. I mean, I'm in the factories all the time.
Yeah.
You know, I see how everything is being made. You know, so um, I can't go to a I don't know a LVMH owned brand and spend like a lot of money on a garment because I know how much it costs to make that stuff, you know. So like the money that I spend is I usually like to keep it. I usually like to spend it on my friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, not even
Uh,
friends, but even young creatives, because
yeah.
I know how much it means when somebody buys stuff when you're just getting started. That gives you the motivation to keep going, you know.
Absolutely.
So like
And the funding.
exactly, it gives you the funding. Like the first people that buy products of just up and coming designers, you need to understand, even though the product is not the best, you can probably get better product elsewhere, but what it means to them and their business is insane. So I would always tell people, well, now I have the opportunity. Yo, you see someone that wants to start it off their clothing brand, etc. One of the worst things you can do is ask for that for free. One of the best things you can do is just order that on their web shop, you know, directly through them, not through a wholesale account. I said, just go to their website. You see this person is trying to do something, support that person. If not, if you don't want to do that, just just go spend your money to to these other corporations,
Yeah.
or people that you do not know, that do not give a about you. Yeah.
um, Last question. His favorite piece of advice
My favorite piece of advice.
or words you live by, I should say.
My advice to like anybody who wants to do something is always start small and it will become big, you know? Make sure your foundation is solid, you know? Um, treat people fairly, you know, always. And just know God is watching and the kids are watching too.
It's a bar. Hussein, I have a lot of love for you, man.
Thank you, man.
I
I got a lot of
appreciate
love
you.
for you too.
I uh I just genuinely am inspired by you, but also just feel like blessed to have met you and just feel like you're a good dude. And um I just appreciate the way that you move in the world. You are doing such great things, but you also stand, on your morals and on your values, and it's a big inspiration to me. I look at you as a big brother, and I've not known you that long. I think just a few years, but maybe like 3 or 4. Um, but I very much appreciate you, and inshallah, I'm very excited to see the continued success and growth and um, global takeover against all odds of daily paper.
Guess man, feelings mutual.
Thank you, bro. Um, I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Inshallah.
Let's wrap it up. All right. Peace.
Peace.